Eric Darling here with Darling Data, and we are once again greeted with a background. So we are once again doing office hours. Kaboom! If you would like to ask your own questions for office hours, this is the link to do it. It's down in the video description. Likewise, if you would like to support my channel and give me money to keep talking, if there were a way for you to pay me to stop talking, perhaps there would be more generosity from the greater public. I am open to that. I can be bought. I'm not beyond that. My morals and my ethics do not extend that far. So if you would like to pay me to keep talking, you can do that. If you would like to pay me to stop talking, shoot me an email. We can work something out. If you like this channel, but not in a money way, you can comment, you can subscribe. And if you would like to hire a consultant to do SQL Server stuff because you're having trouble with SQL Server stuff, guess what? This total package here does SQL Server stuff. Health checks, performance analysis, hands-on tuning, dealing with SQL Server performance emergencies, and of course, training your developers so that you have fewer SQL Server performance emergencies, right down to 0 SQL Server performance emergencies. I can do all those things. Not I. There's only me here. You only get this face. There's no substitute face that shows up and doesn't know who you are or what you're doing. If you would like to get my performance tuning training material, you can get all 24 hours of it for about 150 USD for life. Again, link video description. My new T-SQL course, which I finally fixed this slide for. Videos will start dropping in June. You, of course, get the pre-sale price until the advanced material shows up after the summer. This is companion material to the pre-cons that Kendra Little and I are doing in Seattle this November. So if you are attending those, you get access to this material at the price of your admission to the pre-cons, not to the event, like whatever. If you go to pass and you don't come to the pre-cons, I don't care, right? Like you have to show up for me and Kendra for me to care. If you would, again, speak more about the live and in-person stuff, pass on tour. Boy, this is going to be fun. New York, Dallas, and Amsterdam. August, September, October. I will be at all 3 of them. And of course, I will be at Past Data Community Summit in Seattle this November, doing the aforementioned pre-cons. So we will have a grand time with that, won't we? But with that out of the way, let's do these office hours questions. Let's zoom. What do we have here? Hello, Mr. Eric. Hello, you. I'm not sure how to address you. I've attended your tuning course inside a theater in Seattle years ago. Ooh, a theater, you say. If I may ask a question about the future of SQL, as much as I am not a psychic, but I'll do my best. I heard in the past that Joe Sack left MS to MongoDB and now he has returned. That genius guy still working with improvements of SQL Server, whatever on-prem or Azure. So he did come back. Joe Sack did go to MongoDB for about a year or so. And then he was back at Microsoft. And he was back at Microsoft for about a year and a half. And, it would be inappropriate of me to comment on Joe's situation at Microsoft, but Joe was sort of unhappy with what his role had morphed into. And so Joe went to work at another database company called Elasticsearch. So Joe is now is some sort of head honcho, not sure what a head honcho is, over at Elasticsearch, doing a great job there, kicking butt. They are very, very lucky to have him. I miss him dearly working on SQL Server, but it was not meant to be. All right. Ooh, a personal question. Look at us go here. If you don't mind, could you tell us more about the stories behind your tattoos? What do they represent and how many do you have? Well, the stock answer that I have when someone asks me how many tattoos I have is all of them, because I'm pretty well covered. But the thing where I depart on having stories behind my tattoos is that I got nothing. All right, like really most of them mean absolutely nothing to me. There's no story, there's no meaning, there's no like heartfelt life event that led to me getting them. Like I got a couple like wife and kid name tattoos, but those are just sort of like, if I didn't get them, like they'd be mad, right? That's about it. It's just, I figured out at a very young age that I was the type of gentleman who wanted attention from the type of lady who had a lot of tattoos. And I realized that the best way to get that attention was to get tattoos. And I was lucky enough to make friends with some tattoo artists, like especially like, you know, friends of mine, like lifelong friends of mine who are like starting out getting tattoos, who have gone on to like be really good at tattoos and like own tattoo shops. But I have all their like starter work. So I have a lot of really old tattoos right now that they were just like, hey, I want to do this tattoo to practice. Can I do it on you? And I was like, dope, I'll buy burritos. So most of these tattoos have no real meaning, no real story. Maybe just a thing that I kind of liked at the time, or that the tattoo artist was like, oh, I want to do this Japanese thing today. I'm like, I don't have any Japanese stuff. Let's do it. So like, you know, I just got covered with a lot of stuff that means nothing to me very quickly. And guess what? It worked. May not be the most thoughtful thing in the world, but it was highly effective and painful and effective. So anyway, well, while we're on the subject of pain, without parameterized queries, how would you suggest to decide which queries to tune? So this is actually a neat question because I recently added, well, I don't know, I actually, because of how busy I've been recently, I have no concept of like actual time. Months have gone by where I'm like, where are we? But I sort of recently added a new parameter to SP Quickie Store to help you decide if queries are worth tuning. And that parameter is called include query hash totals. There are underscores in there because I like putting underscores in things to make them readable. I don't like the uppercase, lowercase thing. It makes me feel cramped and crowded, and it gets me all claustrophobic feeling. But so I added this parameter because like what I would find is like I would run Quickie Store, and like there would be this whole like list of queries that looked similar, but would have like one or like just a couple, maybe like 5, 6 executions, and people would be like, this doesn't run that much. I don't want to spend time on it. So I put this include query hash totals parameter in, and what that does is it looks at the query hash. So like if you have unparameterized queries that are effectively running the same thing over and over and over again, right? It's the same query, you just have like different dates or like a different name or a different number of in clause things. All the stuff that like kind of like gets you like the same query hash, but like with different gets you like the same query plan. No, it's not the same query plan. Gets you different query plans, but like the same query hash. Like the text of the query ends up all the same. Like it counts all that up, and it gives you totals for like CPU and duration and like executions and all that stuff. All of like the other metrics that are in Quickie Store's output for the query at the query hash level. So it like you might find a very sneaky query that looks like it's only executed once, but the query hash tells you otherwise. If you look at the query hash, it's like, wow, this thing actually executed like 7,000 times. We just only see this one, like we just see this one example of it in the output. So like when queries aren't parameterized, now that's the tool that, or rather that's the option that I use in my tooling when I want to figure out if something is worth going after. It's still worth using Query Store, and it's still worth figuring out like if the query is meaningful to the workload. Like other ways you can do that with Quickie Store, there's a parameter in there called workdays, and I like the workdays parameter because like it'll just look at stuff that's run Monday through Friday, and then by default 9 to 5, but there are 2 other parameters you can use to change the span of hours. But what's nice about that is that like you screen out automatically all the like overnight processes that you might not care about. If you want to focus on the overnight processes, go ahead and like set the start and end date or whatever, or like use workdays but go in reverse, like with the time stamps. But so I would probably use some combination of those things to do that. Okay, hey, look, another sort of personal question here. Look at that. Hi Eric, hi you. Nice to meet you. Are your educator skills just natural talent? Oh boy, I don't know if I call it that. Or do you have any good sources for improving that? So I have no good source for improving that. Any ability I have as an educator comes from being dumb, right? I am not a naturally smart person. Things don't come quickly to me. I'm like one of those like old CD burners that goes at like 1x, like it burns slow, but it burns deep, right? So I don't learn things very quickly, and it like so like when I need to learn something, like I need to like really break it down in my head a lot further than people who get things a lot more intuitively, like people who are much smarter or more clever, whatever it is. Like they like it's like, oh, like they just look at something like, oh yeah, I get it. Me, I'm like, no no no, I need like, no, why does this thing go from here to there? Like I don't get things that quickly. So I'm good at teaching people because I'm dumb, right? Like it takes a lot for me to learn something, and by the time I've learned something, I feel like I've learned it very well and in very small pieces, so that like when I have to tell someone else about it, like all those small pieces are just like burned into my CD brain, right? CD brain. So I like if there's anything natural, it's because I'm spinning slow up here. All right. Give me the case against partition views. I don't really have one. The only real rot that I've found with partition views is trying to get things right so that they're updatable. That's a damn nightmare. That is not a good time. I don't suggest that. It doesn't fit a lot of situations. So if like if you want to use partition views, I say go for it. Just create your make sure that you get your constraints right, and make sure that whatever needs to like like whatever view needs to be refreshed to get new data in there is running at the right like intervals and stuff, and you're pretty good. I like partition views like usually quite a bit better than like capital P partitioning, just because like I can index stuff differently. If there's like if I add new columns or remove columns, it's easy enough to fix that in the view definition. When you have like proper constraints on the tables to tell SQL Server what data lives where, you get like pretty like clean execution plans from it. So I really don't have much against partition views, aside from like trying to get them to be writable, which again, that kept me up for a while, trying to like get a good demo where they were writable, and I bailed on it. It was too much. It was too many things went wrong and happened that I did not like nor love. All right. Anyway, I believe that is 5 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 5. I can count to 5. I credit most of my ability to count to 5 from barbell training, because doing sets of 5 really does get you good at counting to 5. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next video. So thanks for submitting questions. Submit some more. All right. It's not a very good sales pitch, is it? All right. Goodbye.